think that the whole idea of the novel especially, but I mean also theatre, of allowing us to see something that we didn't know before is actually essential. It's not as though we go to a novel asking us to confirm things that we already believe. So it's been terribly important, for example, in my lifetime, what has happened with the emergence of, say, the Indian novel in English, or the South American novel, and even novels which destabilize the novel form, which seem written, by someone entirely new. I mean, written in an entirely new way, using voice or the sentence or narrative structure in an entirely new way. And one thing I want to say about this is that the country closest to mine is England, and we might see it in many ways as a country that's caused us nothing but harm. But that's not entirely true. I mean, we have to be careful about this. My grandfather fought in the 1916 rebellion, and he was imprisoned by the British afterwards. And there was a great hatred in the family for certain figures in British government. But they didn't allow that to interfere with their reading of Charles Dickens. They felt that Charles Dickens belonged fundamentally to them. And that whole free flow, I think that it's easy to talk about the European Union as being for slow learners. In other words, that was already happening, where we got to know certain things. For example, anyone who read Doris Lessing got to know, who was a man, got to know something about being a woman that would not have been apparent in other ways. And I think the novel mattered in that sort of way. But the form is very powerful in that sense. And what's really important is that we translate more books, that we read writers, that we don't just actually read about Syrians as refugees, that the Syrians write the books, and we're reading a novel by a Syrian about Syria, rather than reading the New York Times, as well as reading the New York Times journalist about Syria. So that whole idea, which I think became very important in Northern Ireland, where figures like Seamus Heaney and Derek Mahan, were writing poetry as people from Northern Ireland about identity, the landscape, or just about their place, began to matter in a time of strife to the whole world.